Hi, I'd like to show you another Giles book. The Giles was a book that came out every year around Christmas time. I know my parents used to buy a copy of it. This one's 1965. So some of you might see some of these ads and remember what they were talking about, because it's a political cartoon in a way, but in a very funny way. Let's have a look at the first one. It's actually got an introduction by Sean Connery of James Bond fame, which is interesting. And it gives you details of what was happening at the time, like, if there had been very bad winters. This one looks like there's been bad flooding. I remember when I was growing up, there's going to be very much colder weather, because I remember there used to be pictures of sheep being or helicopters having to pick up sheep from fields and taking them out, which you don't see nowadays. But so there this is about looking at, they found the Viking settlements in America, so they could say that the Vikings discovered America before Christopher Columbus. But we all know that there were people there tens of thousands of years before Columbus and the Vikings anyway, and they were discovered by the Native Americans. And I always like their faces. I used to be a commuter, so I remember what it's like to be squashed onto a train and just stand all this time. There's a bread strike. There was a few strikes in the 60s and 70s. Britain became what was known as the sick man of Europe at that time, because there seemed to be strikes every 5 minutes. This one's a bread strike. Again, you got the same sort of characters. This old lady, skinny lady. The pictures of the birds. But it was also the time when there was almost full employment. I think you could get a job very quickly. It was easy to get jobs. So there's lots of pictures of current day events. See these very grumpy magistrates and judges. The bikers. I remember there used to be fights between rockers, which are the people who used to have motorbikes, and people who used to go on scooters, called mods. There used to be fights every year at bank holidays at Southend-on-Sea between mods and rockers, which you don't get anymore. This one's very much of a again, these pictures of these young kids. Got Dalek there. Kids throwing things up in the air. Dads having their snooze in the afternoon after lunch. The cat having a sleep, and grandma in the corner there, always looking very miserable. There used to be a boat show every year. I'm not sure if it still exists. It must do, I suppose, but this one about prevention of alcoholism, drinking lessons for schools, Harvard University. They're all having their drink. Yeah, it's about strikes and lack of stuff. There's mainly a fight between the Conservatives and Labour. There was a Liberal Party in those days, a third Liberal Party. They always came in pretty weakly though. But again, I always love their expressions, especially the kids. Playing conkers. I used to play conkers when I was young. Now, because of health and safety, they say you need goggles on and almost anything else now to play conkers because you might hit yourself. Those days that was not a problem. Those days if you hit yourself, then that's you to blame. Well, I hope that was of some interest of you and give you a bit of historical background of what it was like to be living in the 60s, the problems people were facing. Time of the miniskirts were coming in. Hope that's of interest. If it is, please give it a like so I know whether to bring you some more, or if people can't remember these sort of things, also let me know. So give us a like and I'll see you again soon. Bye.